Well, that's why you should always disarm before you tab out and come back in. How you guys doing? Well, a few things we're going to do. Remind you, this time it sounds like I've managed to get sound working from the start, so we're learning. Progress. Our goal for this time, we're working on the Trellborg, Denmark barracks. Last episode of this, we got the timber frame up. Looks like one of my friends is helping me with the roof over there. That's a prank. Some people here are kind of OCD, and that's definitely a prank to them. More than me, because I do need scaffolding to get up there, but that's a little funny. So we're gonna get the roof and walls on is our goal as far as the build. I did try to do a tour when the audio wasn't working yet on the first episode of this build, a tour of the mine. We had a really ridiculously huge pit mine that I started the video in, I think, up there, and so we'll go back to that. I started another pit mine just to show you, and the tree farm where we've done multiple. It's like every tree seed that's dropped, I've planted repeatedly. And one reminder, we have Teufel and Hunden are my dogs here. They've had puppies, and it looks like one of the other unnamed over here has not survived. We had a Drake raid like an hour ago. We fought bone mass yesterday, and so the Drakes, on behalf of Motor, the Drakes have come, and I was here by myself and had 2 Drakes right here spitting at me and the dogs, and up there over the edge of the wall I killed at least 3, if not 4 I think. So that's probably what happened to the puppy who's gone missing. And like I said, I call them puppies and dogs when they are tamed. Looking for seeds, if I have any pine specifically. That is fir, right? Yeah. I think, well, I'm sure I planted them, but I'm looking if I had any more. So, this is the server of Rusty Laser Gaming. So please log in to at Rusty Laser Gaming. You're watching on YouTube. You can probably find in the description of the video easily, even in the title. Click over and follow him. He's got 350 videos. He's a fantastic gamer, and we're following him all the way to the deep north on this seed, on this server. He's got a server that there's 9, I think, of us. Previous people who Rusty likes to call some of his followers from YouTube who play Valheim to come into his next server and play with him, and we did a 7-boss run all the way to fighting Fader, and we're going to do that again, but we're going to keep going in this world through 1.0 so that the Deep North will land in about a month from now, really close to a month from now, 5 weeks or so. And last night we fought Bone Mass, did well. I ranged him and did really well, but then having done that, we fought him a second time, Bone Mass, and I jumped down and went melee. And because I was doing pretty well with my bronze mace, It was really hard with all the poison spewing. It was really hard to see him swinging, and I never got in a parry. And I was doing fine, over 100 health, no problem, no problem. And then suddenly, 2 shots from 100 down to 5, down to dead from the poison. So that's a pretty typical outcome. So the second fight, I died, and I took a screenshot of it. He was down to 10% or less health. It wasn't like the party was having a problem. But I was just, therefore, I was trying something different the second time. And I fought him multiple times. Once in a while you die. So let's start with the tour locally here. I was trying to do such a thing last time and didn't realize my sound was off. So that is Salion's area out there on that corner. He's going to put a very large build for a lighthouse. This is his keep out there. He built this bridge, and I'll admit, the build we saw in the last episode, this entire building was lined up one more over. So what would be the side door should be right there where the glow is. That short, that was here on this, and so I moved the entire frame over. Not literally the entire frame. All those the ones that had the, let's see, on the inside frame, every other 4 meters has a vertical going up to the roof. I moved all of those over one by one, both sides. And so now we're very close on the back. That's not going to be a door. There'll be a side door here. This will be the kitchen end, and pretty much this entire space here roughly will be the kitchen end. So I'm doing a different roof over there. This end, let's say if it's that much, yeah, that's probably about right. We're going to go for an armory about this much. So that's justification for having workbenches and forges and stuff to repair your armor. Now I'm going to make it, let's say 3. 1, 2, 3. And that gives us this middle 2, 4, 6 meters. I think I can probably get the kitchen into here, but I want to have a place to eat. So, the middle, most of it will be the barracks floor, where bunks and cots and whatnot will be the way. Because this is reproducing the Trellborg ring is a Viking fortification made in the late Viking Age. If they were to be invaded, obviously they'd call all the people around. They didn't all have that many hundreds and 1,000 Vikings on staff waiting for the invasion. They would have come from the surrounding countryside and gone into a fort to support themselves to prevent the invasion. Was their idea, and they've reproduced a particular barracks there on the site at the Trellborg Ring excavation. And Skagen he's a historian from the area, Viking historian. He did some Valheim videos to show off the good ability to craft in Valheim. Some historic Viking builds, and he did a good job of that. This is Sven. We have gamma up pretty good on this, so we can see in the dark, because it is a video game. But that means it's really bright in the sun, especially when you have a blonde character with a blonde beard and wearing a white coat. So I'm going to do my best interpretation of that build that Skagen did. He's a historian. He built a Valheim version of the barracks, and I'm trying to build my version of his version of the barracks. So this is our foundry built by Blast Metals. It's a really clever design. You know, when one comes out, you pick up one and you put it in the chest, and then they'll all fall in because we have a particular mod that does that. This is one of the mods. And last time I went over some of the mods, I think I did it when the video wasn't, audio wasn't working, so. That's not my purpose right now. I'll highlight the mods later. But I'm just giving the base tour. This is to keep out the Godzilla mod. No, not really. We're very lightly modded. We have a few quality of life mods on this. And Blast Metal is making a gate. What was the line? Who were you trying to keep out? King Kong? That was from Jurassic Park. It totally looks like that. Just amazing. Well, I'm going to let him fix that. I don't want to break it. Just amazing. And we've got the wall. The wall is doing a good job. I handled a troll raid by myself yesterday because the trolls could not get in. They actually, on the other end of the base way over there, they got down into the water, and it was so far down into the water that the trolls drowned, I guess. They didn't come out. So they kept going and then disappeared. So we're doing a quick base tour. This is the home of my friend Tiny Tank. What does it say? Yield Church of Dwarf. So he's Tiny Tank, and he's got the Church of Dwarf, and it's pretty awesome. I'm not going to go up into his bedroom. Pretty awesome decorating theme. He would be a Dvergr. Sven, this is Sven Dvergr. He was nicknamed that based on the crafting by King Bjorn Ironside. It's part of his legend. So over there is Panda's base, and it is one of Rusty's first and longest followers, and that is why her name is up there, and she gets a free pass to play whenever they play. Blast Metal made this throne for King Rusty. Only thing wrong with it, we need to remake it perhaps and put 2 thrones, because City Witchy is, Rusty says, the wife, so I put a little T on behind that. Rusty's the wife. This is Rusty's drop breeder. Obviously something came up here. Oh, great. We need to feed the puppies. We had hogs in there before. He had the hogs in there before. Yeah, something got to him. And last time I checked, there is a ward on this building, so I'm not going to go in. Not going to even try the door. Let's see. We built a restaurant. I say, Rusty. He's an amazing builder. This is all his. We occasionally have an idea, and he might put things down. We have not yet gone to the plains and unlocked black tar for black wood and whatnot. So he's probably going to put a very large table set up here. Right now it would be the smaller tables that are about yo big, you know. So, but this is our public kitchen. Some of us have our own things going on. Rusty and City have their own up there, but this is the public kitchen. We have a raised bed garden, you know, Viking style, slightly raised. Two full meters of raised. And I would pluck that and whatever. I planted them yesterday, but I need to get on with my tour. That little outhouse looking thing, there's a workbench inside there. That is the design that is preferred by the Pink Lady. There's another one there. And that keeps, you know, this could be inside of a little doghouse or outhouse looking thing. That's what I call it, as an outhouse. But this is Pink's area. Obviously we had some mobs drop in here. She's got a twig. So I'm not going to go into Pink's house. She's a builder. She loves to do tree farming as much as I do. We have a gazebo. Rusty banged that out in like 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing. In fact, he made it and then moved it and made it again. All in one business day. This is Witchy's hut. It's a decorating theme. City Witchy, if you want to follow her, she's a Twitch streamer. She has done YouTube videos, but she's more of a Twitch streamer now. And City Witchy is her thing. So we have a brew house. We might need a few meads. We burned quite a few of them going into the swamp in the mountains recently, and so we have a public brew house. We can all do our thing in there. What's it call it? Heathen's Brew House. Rusty made us a lovely... probably remains from the raid that I just had. I had a bunch of swamp things came down too. Right on top of the Drake raid. Somebody threw him in here for me. Probably Tank. He was here just a little bit ago. And hi if you're in chat. I meant to gotta unscreen that. The storehouse with not even all the stuff. We have room for more stuff. And I couldn't do the white. I accidentally hit that, you know. I don't know how to do that. I think I do, but I didn't. So this is my boar farm. I'm still rocking things. We're still rocking sausage and things with hog meat. I'm not going to do the culling. The server provider was down for a while. Iron Gate had a strike of some kind on their servers, probably a DNS or something. We were down for most of the day until like an hour and a half ago. So I was going to prep and have, you know, some piglets in here, but I'm not going to do the harvest in front of you guys. That is a pretty good crop. So what happened was, you know, one of those stumps that's like the size of those rocks over there, like Yohai stump with the cragged top, was sitting here, and there was a 1-star boar, and I kited him around until I finally was able to land on top of the dang thing and put down some of these walls and boxed him in and built a big square, and then Rusty fixed it because it wasn't north, south, east, west, because I didn't even notice that. But he's good like that. And we've dug a tree. This was, I don't know how big this pond was, but Rusty dug us a nice big public park. Bleat was sitting and planted a oak tree there, and it's gorgeous. So this is our subtle, small, tiny, very, very amazing beach village. A lot of them obviously do Valheim style builds, like I was saying. The thing about having the beam showing through, it's out there in the wilderness. You don't do that, so it will rot the beam. So what you do is you put the roof on top, and I will be showing you that. That's one of the major things I want to show today, is how to float a roof on top of the beams, because, you know, that'll rot the beams. These houses, sometimes, you know, German houses last, I mean, they're still in some that are 400 years old. They won't last if your beams are showing. So there's techniques to that. But I promised a tour of the Troll Mining Inc. And so we'll go over there. Don't know if we'll get any customers today or volunteer employees. I'm not terribly good at doing the kite and dodge thing with trolls. Blast Metal was doing that here the other day, and he was doing really good. You know, and occasionally they'll catch you, and you need to be able to survive take a hit. But we're downhill of our build up here, just looking to see what's up. So we explored, and we had this must have been a tree that was on the roof. We explored and had this crypt, and so I had left and ran out of here, which was a long trek. I left the portal here and went and explored. So we've got a few instances to clean up, we meaning me. But there was a copper node right here, and stone one attached to it right there. and another stone one, and another stone one, and another stone, and another stone, and another stone, and another stone, and more stones, and more stones. There was a stone here. There was, you know, so we just kept excavating, me and Blast, to the next giant headstone. You know, I call them headstones. They're shaped like a flat head kind of thing. And, you know, the same shape of copper, those giant head-shaped stones. And there was one here, and there was one right up here at this end, and then another one down there. So this is our troll mining operation. We've pulled in, I say we, it was Blast Metal pulled in 4 or 5 or 6 trolls to mine for us down here. Quite amazing. Here, I knew there was another. And this is a house design that I like to do, which you got a workbench if you need to repair your stuff of that level. Let's see if I can get it to open outwards. I don't think so. But there's another place I want to go, where I've started yet another mine. Now this is one of those houses, the kind with the smoke channel up in the roof. And I built this all up. I mentioned in my last video how to get room for more benches, more boxes rather, underneath your thing. Bed. If we move this over a little, maybe put, what I could have done maybe is put one storage chest down here, and gauged putting this about 1 floorboard width away from that to get these to line up. And then you can have a raised bed, and, you know, there could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chests can fit under it, so, you know, compact. But I left this alone so I could show you that, what I was talking about. And I made something real subtle here, a dock. It's a real small minor dock build that I've done before. Probably could repair that one green timber there. But obviously it's core wood, and timber framed it and then hung a roof. I was talking about putting the roof floating above the timbers, and that's why I wanted to come here, was to show you what that would look like. You see how the board underneath is just touching, and it could be down a little bit more. You know, it could be. But if we did that, it might intrude upon not being able to get out the back there. But really, while I have the light, I'm hustling to show you my second troll mining operation. And we did have one guest troll help, you know, he was an employee tryout. Didn't work out for him in the end, you know, we had to let him go. But copper node with a stone node next to it, and, you know, we're building massive walls out of stone, whether it's the raised walls, the earthen raised walls with the hoe, or the blocks with the stone cutter bench. Whichever it is, you need, I think we're way over 10,000 so far stone, and so we needed another quarry, so I got this. So those rocks go up into the hills there, and I wanted first the core wood for my build, and then second, you know, copper. I went down the beach and got a lot of tin. So we're gonna go back to the house, show you the AFK cave. If you need occasionally to go AFK and you're in your base and you come back and your base has been destroyed by trolls, it's because a raid happened. So what you do is find a troll cave. Obviously you need to kill the troll, and then about the only thing you can put down in such a cave is these core wood logs and a fire. And so I can sit here and get, what does it say, comfort 4. So you can sit there and then go use the restroom or answer the door for your Amazon guy or something. So you can't put anything else in there. but those. And then, you know, you need to drop trash, you get that. And it says Halder AFK because we're this close to Halder. Happen to be a troll cave. You know, they like to put fun things for you to fight with right up on valuable places, so perfect. Troll cave. We have an AFK cave. And that I learned from Panda Tangent. Let's see. Last thing to show on the tour, the wolves. Up on the mountain, you'll find a place with wolves, and you can lead them down to a place on the edge. This is not freezing. We go, you know, 20, 30 yards up, we're starting to freeze. But this is Rusty's design. There's a pit under here, and, you know, you got the wolf chasing you. You jump up here. Now the wolf can't get you, and it'll get right under you. And don't do that, of course. You get out your hammer, and you break the wood floors. Break. And put down, and the wolf will drop in there. You throw some food, now you're taming a wolf. It's the most brilliant wolf trap I've ever seen. Training operation, so good job to Rusty for that. So that's pretty much our tour, except for my own place now. Which I guess I didn't really do the greatest tour inside my house, but this is a compact. When you're roaming the world and you see the house style 2, the one you might find I think the yellow version of the axe for the early axes, you might find occasionally in a... Nope. It's the other way around. House 6 is the tall upright one you find the yellow in. The silver version, whichever the two names are, you occasionally will find in a house style 2. This was a house style 2, which only came to here. It was an A-frame, you know, it's a tiny little A-frame, half the roof's broken. I did not find the axe here. I did find it for this map, and I gave it to Rusty because that's his style. He's doing much more good work with it than I would. And I'm not saying I don't have an axe. I got a level, I don't know what it is, level 3 iron axe. I'm doing pretty good now, but that's his style. Cutting the trees is my style. He's fighting really hard with that. Does well. So I gave it to him, and he's rocking it hard, man. So gonna unload all this stuff. Probably need to pick that up. Take you to the bug zapper. So, see if we can sleep. I think it was just, well, I was just waiting for a second. I'm having Spanish rice. Put in the comments what you're having. No dream. Dark night, a foggy morning. So, obviously I knew, and this is just so far in the course of roaming this part of the map. You know, we just fought bone mass, and we've been in the mountains a little bit getting wolves. We were getting silver yesterday. I mean, obviously. You know? That I'm wearing the root harness, iron, and I could make the Drake helmet. I'm just not doing it yet because I need to get more silver for that. So, letting other people get their weapons. I'm doing okay. The Spanish rice is in my throat. I was just saying, I'm having Spanish rice. What are you having? This is a one wider. Get back to what I was saying. I expanded it. It was 3 wide. This little house, 1, 2, 3, 2-meter tiles, so 6 square floor. And it was the kind like this with the short wall on the side, whatever house 2 is. And I expanded it all wider so I could fit more stuff in there. Because I'm a pack rat. I was a pack rat in the Marines. This is just what I do. So I've got 3 fires there. now have all the stuff. This is obviously for the smith's forge. Workbench is what? Level 5. The stuff's outside on the other side of the wall. Forge is level 5 as well. So this is pretty typical build for me. That's both of the decorations are kind of overlapped up there. Same out here. See how that's done? I love the wisp lights. They mill around like fireflies. So anyway, this this is a pretty compact. The Comfort 11, the armor stand is hiding behind the chair there, and I added the Raven chair. I already had this, so this isn't counted anymore, but I've still left it there. Anyway, small, quick tour. Oh, and the banner overhead. So, scaffolding is still in place. I put this last time, but we've expanded it a little. I need to add a little more. Need to add a little more scaffolding. So I'm going to fill in this hole across here, because I fall many times. I see my food's going down a bit here, and I could easily kill myself with a fall this simple, this stupid would be annoying. But I wanted to show off before I fix these things. I don't know who. I haven't had a confessor yet. Helped me, I guess is the word, with my scaffolding, and helped me start my roof because I was a little slow, right? So thank you guys, whoever that was. So let's work on the scaffolding a little bit. Gonna highlight problems is dying from falling off your roof. You just need to move a little further over to see the thing, and don't realize behind you you're not seeing you're stepping off the edge. It happens. I swear half of my deaths have been to that exact thing. And same with pink, and same with others, here it's very annoying. But, it's very realistic fall damage. It would happen to a real Viking doing it. So, I think the last vestige of anything pre-built is this. Gotta get rid of. I had tested some methods here. Little reminders. Alright. So, timber framing. Actually not quite finished, are we? Because we need to... I don't know if we can do this from up here. Maybe. So we push the snap point that's on the outside. I don't know if that's it. Let's click through them. That's too low. Oh. That one. So you see how it's up and outside this beam just a little bit? And there's a reason for that. And there's at least 4 methods for floating a roof. I call it floating a roof. I don't know what anyone else calls it, but on top of the beams in Valheim, there's 4 methods. I'm really good with this one, which is just start your core wood beam. This works better with core wood beams, because the square beams, the first thing you have in the meadows, of course, is only square. So this is a little more advanced, maybe rebuild when you're in the Black Forest era on your seed. It's really hard to do this with the square beams, because they want to snap square. They don't want to have this sticking out a little bit. But this is the easiest way to float a roof. This first method, super easy, barely an inconvenience. Whoop. And you'll see immediately what I mean. We're gonna halfway use this, and you'll also see what I mean by halfway. Come on. All right. I think at this stage I want to build my scaffolding to go outside and around. Be the way to go. change it to a corner. Hit Q or E to scroll through the corner snapping. So the other way I can keep that corner that I just made for the snap by going this way. I don't think I really need to keep going down that way. So, first way to float a roof. These are 45s. So this is why I say it's super easy. That is, in Valheim terms, that is technically touching on both. And what I like that little bit of extra overhang here off the end beam. That is what I like. So the simplest way to get this done. But if you're gonna truly have it rain protecting, you're gonna cover up so much of that sidewall, it kind of defeats the purpose. I want to have that sidewall showing. This little well, come on in, puppy. I want to have this little sidewall showing. They like to do that. So, second way. And yeah, I do want to have that one because I want to snap the roof. That is obviously too much, right? So we have to go down. Easiest way to go down one is this. And yep, here's where I'm having the scaffolding is in the way like I thought. Hey, pup. Again, in comments, nominate your names for these 2 unnamed wolves. Alright, so down there, if we do it there, it'll be almost underneath. Almost underneath. And that's too far also. So, how do we get this to go? Obviously, floating a roof, you know, the easy way, the quick way you'll probably do this is what I showed you, to put the roof beam, the roof tile, 45 roof tile, directly on this, and it's floating, but it's kind of above. Other way to go is, you see this here? This is the easiest way. So I snapped that, might fall through. I snapped these beams, you see the roof beams are not in there, they're up. There's a second snap point, remember? Here. I'll show you from the side. We're not using that one, we're using the upper one. And when you do that, it's real easy to get the peak roof to snap on. And it is the second easy way to float. First is what I showed you a minute ago, second is this, and the nice thing about this, when you have an odd and even number of floor wide, when you have an odd number, it comes right out just right. But I want that little bit of overhang, so it just can't be that easy. So we're going to try to target. And we're targeting the piece of wood that's in the 45. And move in. And now we have a half overhang, which is what I want. I'd like it to be less, but my design is slightly different. If you're watching the video from Skagen, my design is ever slightly different. The height of the side walls I made higher on my build is why. But so we can target this. That's not it. Oh, there's my scaffolding. Oh man, sun right in the eyes. It's in my eyes too. Sorry guys. There we go. And then we can fly one over the end. Let's not fall off. fly one over the end. All right. So, again, the tricky part is that it's not hanging out over the end. Now, I'm gonna go with a full 2-meter overhang. I have an idea for a facade type end here that's quite different because it needs to be the smoke hole for the kitchen. I'm doing something quite different. And we'll see that. That'll be part of this build. We're gonna get the roof on. So if you're a fast forwarder type person, you want to this is a live stream, so YouTube is not necessarily gonna give you the oh, I see. One of these I gotta do that. Nope. Yeah. To get the whole pattern started for the rest of the roof. So this is a little like an auto snap kind of an issue, so switch to one of the corners. Man, I just did it backwards, didn't I? It was doing it correctly, and I took it out. That was the right one. Alright. So you can see here, it auto snap up in there. Because 3 of these will overhang my 2.5 worth of roof beams. And look how that just floats on there. See that wood beam that's right above my head? Is touching the timber frame. Over here, it's touching the timber frame. That's absolutely perfect. That's what we're looking for. So it's not in. That is not what we're looking for. Got a snap up there that I have to find. There we go. Not finding it. It's like I need an outside timber scaffolding. That's really what I need. So spend the time doing that. Yep, there we go. To get these all the way from the top, right, to snap, it's better to have a good angle on it. This is probably a better angle, so we'll make it work. So let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions. Like I said, there's 4 ways to do this. We may discover the others as we go. I'm not consciously thinking of 4 ways. I'm thinking of these 2 that I'm using. From the side, we're not using that one. From the top, peak, we are using that one. With the raised center beam up on the angled beams, and then the 45-degree peak roof, you know, 2 directions, on top of that center beam. And then you do need to, like I said, to get this to come out right, you do need to push the first one up there, up in. See how that one is up in to the top? Otherwise you'll get this, which I didn't recognize was not right. Alright. Come on, chat, you're supposed to tell me these things. You missed one, you know, that kind of thing. Alright, let's put this so we can get around the corner. Now the corners are extremely tricky, and the end of the roof that I'm doing is extremely tricky, and that is why I did a little pre-build so I could come and start the stream and look at it, break it down just as I was starting. So, oh yeah, that's what I did. Extremely tricky. So, it might be easier to go this way. Because we're doing 3. Once you've got one, it might be easier to go up than to go down. Because when you're trying to snap up in there, you've got the 2 things you're snapping. But if you're also going off the bottom one, see, I could do a bottom snap. Let's try that. Bottom snap. That's a lot easier. Not that. Yeah. So here we got a bottom snap. So we're bottom snapping to that. Not the beam. And the other one was already up there. So we have to continue these ideas down. Whoop, don't jump off the end. The only thing I built was a shooting range on the back here. So that's 10 meters, 20, 30, 40 is the way over there. Yeah, right next to the bridge. In my crosshairs, that's 40. By the portal is 30, 20, 10. And I'll tell you, it's harder than you think, because depends on what your bow is. There's a arc to the arrows, and it's harder to hit these targets than you think from 40 yards. But the whole point is it's good training for, you know, what is 40 yards. And I put a couple of usual suspects heads there for us to shoot at. So again, going for ASMR type builds, so this will probably be one of those. Do have a floor all the way, right? Yeah. It's the other side that had a notch in it. And this is, I am going to sleep. I think I'm the only person on the server right now. Rusty and City are playing 7 Days to Die on what is it? On Wednesdays and Fridays, they're playing 7 Days, and they're having a lot of fun. I think they have one of our familiar friends in there with them. Yeah. Alright, so we really need to get these roof peaks in first. I'm tired. Building is hard work. Let's see if we get a corner snap that works. And it's a lot easier to look at that corner than to try to target with the beam in the way up there. It's so much easier to find that free corner. Yes, you. So I'm going to put these on, and then I'll go inside. So you notice that there's no rain damage on these beams. If you have an angled core wood attached to it, they don't get rain damage. So that explains why the ones standing free on the corners of the build here turn green. They don't have that protection of a corner angled beam. You know, the one directly below me, it's turned green because it's been out in the rain with no protection. So it's not like core wood is rainproof. Good time. It's angled core wood beams protect things below it. The X's of both kinds in the regular beams work too. And the 27 and 45 angled squared beams, I guess we'll call it. One of those is on top of something, it protects it. And of course a roof whatever that is. We got the buff. We got a few minutes. Sunrise in the west. Look at that. This is a beautiful game. Right. So you see how much wood I have available? 1,600. Get it right. So that is why I've been doing my... Oh, and I didn't show you the woodlot yet. Oh, brother. Something I forgot on our little tour was the woodlot. Get to that. It's up to you guys to remind me. Hey buddy, how you doing, Seth? I see you said hi in there. I need some sort of audio chime or something that goes off when people say hi, because it's my own YouTube stream is running on my laptop as my second screen next to me, but I've got the sound turned down because some people the other day were saying they could hear me and themselves talk in my own microphone. The feedback loop of having the YouTube. There we go. Video playing next to me with any sound, they were hearing it, so I had to turn that down. But I need something. I need something to be able to catch that. Somebody chatted to me. Got any questions in there, Seth? Let me know. Thanks for coming. Seth is one of Rusty's heathens that is playing on this build. He's like Panda now. Seth is a new perpetual player with Rusty. The last, I don't know how many playthroughs. I was in on the first class who got to do it here in Valheim with Rusty and City. And Salion, the guy who's building the Island Fortress and Lighthouse builds. And there was a couple others, but I think as far as persistent who stuck through the whole run was the two of us, and of course Panda, City, and Rusty, all the way to fight the Ashland's boss. I'd never even bothered to go into the Mistlands. I think I was doing a run when it came out, and didn't ever go in the Mistlands before. City and Rusty helped me with that. And now, yeah, you don't have to put those up there. I talked about not having the beams exposed. There was a reason I was doing it, which escapes me at the moment to explain. But it was that very first one, so you're targeting off that piece of wood, and it's up just a little bit higher is why I did it. But come to think of it, yeah, you're going to take all those off because that's a beam exposed to the weather, right? We'll see what it looks like. I'll get up there and take these off. Getting the roof on, and the start of walls was our goal for the day. But it is, I think it's just that much easier, in my experience, to snap when you have that wood beam up there of the 45 peak. Okay. That one. And I'm sorry about the sun being in our eyes. We could go to the other end of the house, probably should. But you see that? I find it's easier to get that snap when that beam is up there. So that's kind of like part of the scaffolding, I guess we'll say, to have that. You may be able to do it better and not need to have that in the first place. And then not have to go back and take them out. So good for you. But I'm just going to make scaffolding that allows me to run up on the roof and then click that wooden beam that's exposed up there and remove it. Oopsie. Not that. Exactly. Whoa, can't see my... There we go. Oh! This is why we take food. Like I said before, the max fall damage you can possibly get in Valheim is 100. So even if you fly off the side of a mountain, without the feather cape, you fly all the way down with the assistance perhaps of a mountain troll, as some people call him, the rock golem, hits you, or wolf, or you jump. Come out of a crystal cave and just jump. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go down here because that's annoying. You can get the angle different over here. That sun! And fly all the way, 100 meters of altitude down. The max you can possibly suffer fall damage is 100. So if you got good food at this level, I've been over 100 for a while. I'm not at the moment, but I see it flashing over there, and I'm just going to refresh my food. And this might be sort of the last second, sure. But falling from here, I wouldn't take 50 damage, so whoops. See there? Did it again. I saw on some list there's a nice mod for removing the dust, that dust of crafting, and when creatures hit you and you hit creatures, and when they poof, when they die and turn into their loot, there's all these dust, there's this visual aid to let you know whatever it is happened. But doing props and stuff with your hoe and pickaxe, there's all these poofs. Can be removed by various mods. That's what I'm trying to say. Rusty's server is very lightly modded. Just some quality of life. And I can show that list now. Yep. Just one. That sun was in my eyes. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, any more? Not high enough to pick that up. No more sticking down. I do think I need to put one off the end on that end. Yeah, these are messed up. Maybe I didn't recognize them because I was looking up and not seeing the side. It's just that one. Yep. Need to get out here anyway. That's not it. This is what I was saying. The reason for putting that peak up there was to help with that exact thing right there. Hey, puppies. Anyone have any names for the puppies? Let me know in the live stream or in the comments if you're watching later. And that is the first level of the roof. So we're going to be able to see a little bit of the sidewall up there. Gonna leave that. Okay, that's good. That end is already there. I was wondering. And this end, and I have a special design in place to put in place up there. So, gonna do some scaffolding thing to go up on the roof. I probably can walk along it and nuke that thing. I just need to get up there. Yes, I did. Just throw that dog on the ground. Pushed him right off. So this is kind of cool that I'm able to do this. Until I finish the build, I really don't need to, tear down anything I'm using to live in this house. It's a perfectly good house. While I'm building a larger house around it. It's a pretty crazy idea, but that's what I do. This isn't even crazy, This is perfectly normal stuff. Yeah, I thought that one was not touching. Oh, more. Okay. So. So that was a good test of the emergency wood integrity system. That's all it takes. Call this wolf heavy or something, because apparently he's heavy. Yeah, now it's green. I hadn't actually truly recognized that. Even though I'm looking right at it, I hadn't really noticed that was happening. Turning red, I guess. And it had to be if there was two of them. Oofed. Alright. That's hilarious. Found the tiniest hole just big enough for my feet. Anybody have any people in your family were in construction? You might have some interesting stories about people falling through silly things and surviving, like I just did. Hopefully not surviving stories. So, all right. Whoop. Nope. Nope. I'm gonna do it again. Good targeting. This wolf really loves going up these stairs. I love that about the wolves. When you tame them in this game, their pathing. If you leave a door open, they want to go inside. They want to be inside dogs. It's just incredible. I love it. It's one of the things I do like about Valheim is that they got that going on. Yep. I stopped myself, but oh brother. There we go. Oh, no wonder. All that work to get up there, and need to repair my build hammer. One thing about having puppies, you need to make sure you're closing all doors or they'll come inside. Yeah, it says level 3, 300%, 300 points, I guess is the word. Build hit points. So I built 300 things. Built or broke 300 things so far. Just this video so far. Let's not do it again. There, let's do that. So much easier if we can walk up upon that. Might have to jump up from the scaffolding to get those, but that's easy to do. So, we're looking to delete the... And take the wood with us. We will come back later. Delete the peak, not the 2 A-frames. You know, not the 245 long 45 side roof panels, but the left and right combo. So when it highlights that half instead of the whole is what I'm looking for. Hello? Sir, we're out of order. Now's the time to fix them. Whoa! Okay. Yeah, I heard a gray dwarf over there. This is one reason we have 1-star security guard force. I'm guessing we've got over 2 dozen plus puppers on security out here. Whoa, that was good. Alright. And yeah, I know I'm going a little sideways, and it's because the hammer naturally targets just a little off to the side there. Oh, oh, oh. There we go. Oh, I thought I could pull that off. One of the weird things about Valheim, when you jump in the air, you can fly a little bit. So I was trying to do the turn. I've seen it done. I've done it, but I didn't do it that time. You fly through the air that little bit and can turn. Make it turn as you do that, brother. I forgot what my jump just got up to. Let's do a stats check. Run 68, 50 farming, 47. We're in day, I think we're under 400, but we're over 350, somewhere in there. So these are not using the dojo training methods and just using wild training. I mean, I did probably a level or 2 with the bow against the targets I made downstairs, but that's about it. But people do the jump training. This is natural. A little bit of fists when you're, whatever it is breaks or you forget you don't have it equipped and start punching the mobs. Axes used as a weapon, 30, 15 blocking. I don't block often enough. I usually just start swinging. 31 clubs, 62 woodcutting, 26 swords. I found early on, like day 2 or 3 of playing this, I found the wooden axe, and so I started using it against the low-level meadows creatures just to get more swords. It took forever to kill them, like 20-30 seconds, and that's chasing after them because you hit them and they'll run away a little bit. But anyway, 26 swords, 20 crafting, 6 sneak. Don't do it often enough. 44 bows. Bows is often my primary weapon. Cooking 11, dodge 0. I don't do the dodge thing very well. Spears originally was I think about 15 before I made a bow, and I haven't really touched a spear since then. So this has come down to 6 because of deaths, you know. 5 swim, 44 pickaxes, 12 knives, 0 pole arms. So that's our stats check. And I am unsure if I can do this. It could easily be dark and stormy and rain when I wake up, but I figured I would move down there and see if I made it, and come inside if I didn't. So here we are. Got 9 people watching, 2 likes. I think one of them is me. Like Rusty said, if you guys can hit that like button, drop a comment. If you're a new subscriber, somebody I think is +1 subscriber. You need to comment in chat, you know, in the live stream chat, saying, hey, that was me. One thing is, if you, in your privacy settings, as a YouTube video playing person, you're watching videos, you need to check in your privacy settings. The default is private. And so you're not showing to people that you follow them because you have it set for private. That is the default that YouTube sets up for new accounts. So if you want us to see, Joe Smith is a new subscriber. Yeah. You need to go to your privacy settings and make that public. And that doesn't mean that the wild public can see that you're following any particular streamer. It means the streamer or YouTuber, whether we stream or not, video person, that you subscribe to in the back house, in private, can see that you have now subscribed to them. And like I showed you that wall of names up there for Rusty, and maybe I didn't show it well enough on this stream, but like that, I'm going to create one of those. I'm going to create it on my own private. I have a particular seed where Sven, whoa, if you look at my videos, there's a playthrough I'm trying to do of Sven roleplay, and it starts with an epic Viking saga poem that I recite that's about 8-9 minutes in character in a given seed that I like, and there's a reason I like that particular one. So I'm gonna make a clone of that seed and make a clone of Sven. Well, I could use this guy, it doesn't matter. Might as well. When I start and end videos, what I plan to do, I'm going to go build that seed up. I'm going to build my own sub wall. And obviously right now it's only 24 people. It's not a big deal. Thank you for every one of you. It's a lot of you are from Rusty. I'm not saying it's not a big deal, you know, in the negative way. I'm saying to build a sub wall is not a big deal. But, you know, to start one. But what I'm going to do is on a permanent world, I'm going to put that down, and then no matter what game I play, I can log into Valheim to that world and go and add names to that subwall and say thank you very much for new subscribers. So to do that, again, we have to be able to see your name. And you know, we don't, if you have privacy on, that means the YouTuber does not see your name, just subscribe to him. So that's fine. You're welcome to be a watcher, and whether you like or not, whether you truly don't know what I was trying to say. I'm trying to find my sub list over here. Oh, I know what I'm looking for. I put it in the description, my current sub list. And say thank you. It's down here. World Poetry was my first subscriber years ago, out of nowhere. I don't know. I followed them too. The Deadwook 25 is somebody I know. Matt Street, the Dead Snipe is somebody I know in person. Saleon is playing next to me. Five Fingers is a follower of Rusty. Ma Laser, Rusty's mom, is Bonnie, is a follower. Suze, thank you very much, is one of Rusty's followers. And Panda Tangent. I'm playing in here with Panda and Saleon, and the newest one is the Tiny Tank, and he commented in chat to this video already. That is Seth. and he goes by Tiny Tank. He's playing as a Viking dwarf, something like that. Anyway, those are the only ones I know because they are public. When they follow a YouTuber, the YouTuber can see the name of who followed them. Those are the only ones I know, therefore, because they're the only ones who did that. There's 3 times that many following, but I don't know their names. So if you want to be known to me or to anyone, you need to go to your privacy settings and make that public. And it's not public again to the wild public. It's you know, that anyone can see, oh, you're following that guy. Why? You know, it's not that at all. You can the YouTuber themselves can see that you are following them. That is all that public means. So we're going to do some interesting things with these ends, but I think the first thing I want to do is get these walls up. So I pre-did some apparently here. I was looking at the difference between this wall showing or having the crossbars. And I'll show you this. So imagine this is out in the weather and the rain gets on it. This is like greebles, you know? When you build something, it's got texture, you know, and I've done that for a while. And that makes a lot of sense to have that textured look. Here's your beams. But if they're outside, that's wood's going to rot, right? So that doesn't make as much sense as the other way. So the right way, so to speak, to do it is turn the board around. And I don't necessarily have to have that beam on the ground, but it is my anchor right now. If I take it out, I probably will need to, you know, it's the outline of my build. I probably would need to oh, can't see it because of that. I know, probably would need to finish my sentences. Raise the ground a little bit. And the ground reminds me of something. We're talking about a fairly authentic Viking build. Yeah, see? There's a little bit of a relief up there from that half wall. That's more than I like, but I was... You know, Skagins has a shorter... You know, this beam is 3 meters. On mine, it's 4. So Skagins would end there. And then the 27 degree would go about there. Touch about there, and then you'd see more of the side. And I decided to go with a taller awning. And again, if we had a mod like Gizmo, we could make an angle. I could angle these in at, say, 10%, so it's leaning towards the building, which is also what they sometimes did. But again, we're working with vanilla Valheim settings and doing what we can with that to make as authentic Viking build as we can interpret with these settings. So some of these are going to be replaced by doors. And that reminds me, might as well go do it now. The very reason I moved the entire building, so to speak, over was so that I could make a door here, centered on Salion's bridge. And this will be the main doors for my Viking Hall. Will be those. One of the things that's handy to do is snap this stairs in, so it's hiding there in the ground and you don't trip over your own door sill. It's there. I may lower this a little bit, and I plan to do this cobblestone along the outside here, which is, you know, fairly authentic how they actual Vikings would do their ground around these buildings would be. And you two, let's go over here. how they would do the ground around these buildings. It would be compacted earth on the inside, so their floor would not be stone. In later eras it was stone. It would not be dirt, it would be compacted dirt. And for that I'm going to use the pathin function of the hoe. And on the inside, and on the outside I'm going to use the what is it? Okay, I hadn't had the right bottom snap yet. Whoops. Gotta get that in place before the puppy goes inside. They love to be inside dogs. And I know my bees are suffocating. They're not going to be happy. Anyway, so compacted earth on the inside, and that stone, they might do something a little bigger than that, you know? Bigger squares, or whatever, tiles, I guess, I don't know, of floor would be authentic, but I'm not doing that. Inside, I'm not doing a late Viking era. Doing, you know, Sven, if you watch that saga poem on my, whether it's my short playlist or my long playlist, the saga of Sven, he was born in 840 in Upland on Lake Birka, Lake Malaran rather. His father was the chief of Birka, and then became the Jarl of Birka. And I'm sure there's true historical people that I'm not mentioning because I've fictionalized it for my own character's purpose. Yes. So I'm not talking about a historical person. Sven is a fictionalized character. So he was born in 840, and when Bjorn Ironside sieged and sacked Paris, Sven was along for that voyage. And on the way home, Sven was betrayed, let's just use that word, and did not make it home from the voyage. So he is you know, from the mid 800s. So that's not the late Viking era. That's you know, that's the era when Christianity was just discovered. One of the places Sven would have apprenticed would have had the first hints of seeing Christianity in the Viking world. So it's not a complete alien. Oh, whoops! A complete alien concept to him, but you know, he's a Viking lad of his times. All right, so yet to decide: am I going to put the door on the end, facing south, or am I going to put the door here facing the bow range? There's going to be a door on the other side. This end is going to be the armory. I'm thinking I want to have it, I can always change it later, but I'm thinking I want to have it on the end, which would mean here. Because opening onto the onto the archery range, you know, this is a training base. These guys would definitely have the ability to train archery, and you have a little competition. You know, whoever the good bowman would be, because Vikings, most of them like to get up close and personal, and you know, stab the troll in their big toe, I guess. But you know, Sven was a bow maker, and so he was a good bowman. He, during the sack of Paris with Bjorn, he was guarding the boat, and so before they went ashore, he was sending long-range, accurate bow fire into the Frankmen, and then supported the siege landing. Part of the saga story, Bjorn's brother went ashore and was fighting and was going to be stabbed or shot or whatever from behind, and Sven got that guy with a bow from afar, and the brother was very mad at him for intervening in his kill. And it's like, well, it would have been you die your kill, you know. This is why Sven did it. So anyway, so that's the original wall of the house, was this with the wood turned this way. So we're finally replacing, this is actually the original wall of this house that we've rebuilt now twice. Once to be +1 wider, and now to be, started as 3 wide, what I just had was 4 wide, and now it's becoming 5 wide. And I don't know that anything I've placed is going to drop because I'm doing this wall. I don't know, we'll find out. It should be just visible where I had things placed. This is our goal for the day, is to frame up and wall up. So we're getting there. The tricky part is going to be the roof ends. Imagine we're going to have one of the stone hearth fires and 3 of the small normal stone fireplace, you know. And yeah, I'm not sure that's right. Yeah, it's not. We're going to generate a lot of smoke. That's got to go somewhere. So I have a particular roof idea that I've studied and seen that I'm going to do to vent the smoke. Now, one thing these often did have, you know, like I've got this little gap in the roof here. Often authentic Viking builds would have a gap near the peak. Some of them had that, where a length of the building channel with a little gap for the smoke to get out, like would be on the other side if I didn't put this board up there. But others had a different way. Imagine you're farther into the deep north. You want it to be warmer. Of course, you don't want to die of smoke, but the idea of having a smoke channel. That house we were in earlier on the beach had a smoke channel style, right? Nice try, pup. So it trapped the smoke in the top and it just sort of dissipated. Now, how realistic in real life was that? I don't know that. Was how they did it, but I have an idea of how they did do it that I am doing here. Alright, so we need a different snap. Yep, that one. I don't understand how or why it spawns a deer right here. Apparently I need another workbench, which I'm going to have. I'm going to try to have one right in this corner of the building. But I mean, there's one right here. This must have... Where the heck did he must have ran up the wall somehow? So my wall is not straight enough. I've thought about putting a palisade up here. You know, the palisade walls. It would be very appropriate. Let's see. But I think for reveal day of here's our finished build, I'll do that. But that's yet another lot of materials I need to go gather. Of course. But I'll probably take it back down, donate that to the village resource stores, because it ruins the sight lines. I mean, you think about it, we do want the raids. I was happy to see the first few troll raids. There's a thing, I'll tell a story sometime about Sven and his fear, and therefore focus on killing all the trolls he possibly can, because of a story he learned in the farther north of his apprenticeship years about the trolls of the deep north. And this is real stories from North Viking era areas, not Valheim, deep north. So Sven has a healthy fear of trolls based on these legendary stories he heard about about them when his apprenticeship included the deep north in Scandinavian lands. Sven was sent all over the Scandinavian lands to learn this and learn that from the various masters. Because if he was going to be a good shipwright, that was his end goal, he needed to learn all the various trades. So with his father's connections, Sven was sent all over the place to learn wherever his master hovered. The best guy for learning how to do bow work is this guy over here in this village. And so Sven was sent there for a whole year. So he learned, one of those was far north, and then he was caught up. He was out hunting. He was learning how to do bows, and the master said the only way to know how what you're doing works best is you got to go hunt with it. So he's learning from his own personal experience that, if you carve the handle this way or that, it twists in your hand. And if you carve it the other way, it twists the other way. If you break it, you got to fix it. And so he sent him all over the Viking world. And the bow apprenticeship was far to the north of Upland, Sweden. And so Sven's out hunting, got caught up in the wild hunt, and carried off up so far. It was in the Sami, in America we call them Eskimos. In Sweden and Norway, Viking lands, those same people, the Inuit, are called the Sami people. They're not the same. It's the same kind of people, living literally near the Arctic Circle and sometimes up there in the Arctic Circle. Had these crazy legends of trolls they told that scared Sven so much. And so here in Valheim, the second day of us being here, or third, Sven and Pink Lady were in here by ourselves, and we went resourcing. Alright, got some tweak here somehow. Gotta figure out where that is. Yeah, I'm not seeing the beams. It starts all the way back here. Okay. Debugging. I don't know that those are wrong, but these were. So, why did Sven kill 12 trolls in one day with his bow? First of all, he's that guy. Old Rusty, Sven's a bowman. But why specifically has he got such a hatred of trolls that he would wipe out, a whole clan of them in a day, roaming all over the place? Is the story he was told about the Deep North trolls of Midgard, not necessarily Valheim again. And I'll just fourth wall it to you guys. There's a really cool movie called Troll, which is foreign language, and it involves these Deep North troll legends that I was talking about. It is amazing, and you get used to it being a foreign language thing. Alright, so now comes the fun part. Yeah, I might as well do two at once. Let's see. That would be too high, and that is too low. We don't really need to timber frame this. What I'm trying to do really is the beams to snap the roof above 27 rather, above the wood. So let's just show, if we do that one, and then snap that one, you see the wood is showing. And this is the normal and standard Valheim way. Half the buildings we find on the map when we were doing this start off that way. That is too high. I'll show you. So you go there, and whoop. Oh, yeah, I need the food, don't I? Got that. That is, if we can see at the angle, that is technically, you know, we probably are going to go with that, because that is just touching. I think it's not touching, but it's touching, you know what I mean? But the problem is, it's not hanging off the edge. So, that's why this stuff is so much fun. Trying to figure out these problems. So one of the methods is to ghost it in there. Like I was saying, there's multiple methods, one of which is to ghost it in there. So that's not terribly invalid method, but it's sort of on top of that roof with this wood hanging off. If I could get that wood to snap, what we need is one more snap point where that piece of wood, that crossbar, is its own snap point. So we could snap the wood to that crossbeam, just like that. So float it in there. This is yet another one of the techniques. So each of these is going to take 2 roof tiles to get that to come off with a little bit of overhang. That was pretty good, actually. I've struggled and struggled to do it. I do this all the time. I've struggled to get that snap to float. You're hitting shift, so you're defeating the snap program, and you're sort of floating it in there magically somewhere. Click is to do that. You hit the shift button. Get up there. And you know, it's extremely tricky because it wants to snap and snap and snap, and then you might try it 6 times and not get it in the right place because it's really hard to see because of these angles and whatnot. So that, to get that on, like, what was that, 2nd or 3rd try, was actually pretty good. So out of the 4 methods, that's 3rd one we've discovered so far. Remembered, you know, whatever. I didn't invent them. I'm not saying discover in that context, but you know, what I wanted was to get that beam to snap in there right on the corners of the wood, and it did, and it was only my 2nd try. That's pretty awesome. So these corners, as I just said the word corners, these are super fun. And the way to do it is when you get one of these that's working right, you snap your corner to it, and it's technically the corner is floating a little high, but it's hard to tell. And then you come back and snap that wood to it. Now, I'm not terribly fond of that beam sticking above So I'm going to hit shift and float it right. Doesn't matter. I need to move my body. That's what needs to move. Float it in just a little. This is extremely difficult. The easy way to do it would be where you're standing, though, so it turns red. And it wants to snap, even though I'm hitting shift and defeating the snap thing. It wants to snap there. Let's see if I do this. It's just short. If I snap the corner tile to that, it's not going to match to the side we did. This is another way to do it, though. See how that's so far up in there? That's inside the side beams, so we're not doing that one. So this is where it becomes tricky, right? Rotate. So that having the wood inside the side beams is the point. You're exposing the side beams. Oh, was that it? It's off the ground. It's like so close. That's crazy. Yeah, if I go up off the ground. Oh, that's actually looking right. Okay. There we go. That's fantastic. It just needed that little bit of extra height, you know, that little gap that's showing that little bit of height, you know, to make that work. So that was good. Let's go back and get this one. Whoa. So we get that little bit more overhang for weather purposes. Now, in the farther north regions, they would have much steeper roofs. They would never use 27 degrees. Truly in Sweden, they probably would use 45s, not 27s. This is for further south, you know. Denmark, Netherlands, I don't know about there, but when they built in England and France, you know, Vikings settled there, they might be able to get away with things like this. But in true Scandinavia, they would probably always have 45-degree roofs. They would almost never do this. Well, this is the little side awning, and this is, again, this is my interpretation of the barracks, and I decided not to have that wood end right there at the corner. But I'm gonna do one side one way and the other side with this side with this. Do the other side the other way without it, and I'll stare at it for a couple of days and get back to you next time I see you guys. But that's the look. Got a corner to do on this end. So we're coming on 2 hours here. Let me know if you guys, for the future, you like this sort of thing and you want to see, man, sun. In more completeness, if you're down for the whole thing, or yeah, see, there's the trick we're gonna run into is, okay, what do we do with this corner? And that's what I was wanted to look at. So that's a good deciding factor for not doing the two tiles, roof tiles for that. So I just made my decision. I'm not going to, having looked at it, which is what I said, and realizing the end is not going to work that way. And this is going to look a little more natural. Scalgen's way. You look at the building that I'm recreating, the actual Trellborg ring barracks. Which one looks more accurate? Was my whole question. Well, there we go. Got an answer. But I showed you a technique. You know, if you want to have that little half, this little half overhang, I like that a lot. I'll do that on all kinds of builds. I'll do that little half overhang. Like I have it on the second story of the roof, I guess. On purpose. I'll often do that. This is how to get that done. Even if you don't have room for two such tiles of for the ceiling. All right, so let's back up and look. So the major difference between this and the build Skagen did, and frankly the one at the historic site, again, is these are 4 meters tall and not 3. If they were 3 meters tall, you'd see, I mean, from this angle, you'd see a full meter of the sidewall up there. So, I got a decision to make. You may come back and see it done differently if I fix things off camera, you know, that's possible. I will probably do so on this backside, which I'm going to complete off camera in the next couple of days. I'll probably do it so that these are lower. You know, so my snap for this beam would be here. And do this whole side that way and have a look and see. And I'm already betting that I'm probably going to go that way for the whole build. But I'm not going to occupy your time. I'll do some of this for you to see. And I always like this little wood pole for it's my target cursor, let's call it, for fixing things. When I need to repair, disable things, I'll use this little short 1 meter vertical beam. It's so much easier to spot what am I trying to target, you know. That already was there. Interesting. So, we're going to watch which snap we're using. Yeah, that was the one. So we're still using the 4 meter beam. We're just sinking most of it into the ground. See, that just looks different. I'm not sure what's the difference here. But, yeah, something right there. I can fix that off camera and fix the front side, because without that scaffolding up there, you'll be able to see now. Good luck for me getting that that snap thing to work. I might do it 20 times, you know, to get it to work the one time that I need. I have full stacks of the food inside. I will need to go get more. Let's see. I did this, didn't I? Trying to remember what that method number 4 was. I think that's the inside the beam still snap. I don't think there's a higher snap on these that we're able to push it up a little, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yep, yep. It's the high snap on the round. Okay. Remember what I did 20 minutes ago or more when I was talking to you guys, you know? Memory, it's a thing. Some people have them. I heard about it once. Alright. Piece of wood. Well, that is it. Alright. That just seems a little high, doesn't it? But that beam crossbar on the roof tile is touching the wood. It's just touching the wood. Does seem like it's a little high. But how does that look? Sometimes it's easier to jump at an angle. If you have a high jump, you can jump right out of the area. Yeah, so now we're seeing it like that. So if you go look up that video I've mentioned, Skagen, this Trellborg Barracks build that he's reproducing, that I'm reproducing his, does show that a little bit more of the side. His shows even more because he didn't do the slight overhang roof that I insisted on doing up there. His was right to the edge of the roof, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna do my interpretation of his interpretation of the Trellborg build. Barracks, you know? And it's historians, you know, they have a dig site. It's not like there was a Viking era building sitting there for them to come find. So it's a dig site. And they've done their reproduction, historians have, on the ground, but it may not be accurate. It's their interpretation of what they're looking at. What did this building probably look like is what they did, you know? So I'll need to grab a couple more pieces of food. We can go up to the woodlot, and I can finish the entirety of this thing. It's approaching 2 hours. That's kind of what I plan to do today on video. So we'll go up to the woodlot. I'll show you how we do what we do, what I do. I'll warn you, it does lag the server, and I've been severely chastised by the bosses, the owners of the server, that causing that much lag for everyone is ill-advised. But I'll show you why that happens. I'll do something, then I'll spend the next hour off after you guys go, after I cut off, fixing it, because it's quite a mess. So we got the idea. Showed you 3 of the 4 methods, and I don't even remember what the other one is, of course. How to float a thing on the roof. It's a trickier way to do it. I'm gonna fix the front so it's lower like this. Somehow we had a deer spawn here who became lunch for the puppies. I don't know where my 2 named ones are. They usually end up in the river. Yeah, here we are. Follow me. One thing, if you're ever drowning, you can get to the side of something and just walk. You can recover your stamina. If you can get to anything that you can push your face up against and walk. But I built a recovery method over here, and I'm gonna have to, I don't think they're gonna be able to do it without a board there. So we'll take care of this first. They are trying hard to follow me. Alright, good puppies. Snap, snap, snap. See if they'll make it. I don't know. Nope. You need a little bit more there. Alright, pup. Watch out. There we go. So to get over these bridges, the reason we have this gap here is so that the creatures cannot come through. So if you want, if I want to take, let's say they breed and there's 6, 7, 8 hounds in here next time I see them, I can take some across the bridge by placing this over the gap. So this is a gap, the 1 meter square fits there, but we fall through there often if we're not moving fast enough. And sometimes I'm carrying a full load of goods, so I put those little beams there. You can walk straight across it without a problem. Your cart gets across it without a problem. So that's why we do that. You were wondering, what is that? And feed them some good puppy food in their doghouse. And again, I know they're wolves. I call them. That's to collect whenever they kill something. It goes in the chest automatically. I call them dogs and puppies when they're tame. So we were gonna show, what was it? The tree farm. It's part of our. Oops. It's part of our tour. So, I like to do it at a place where we already have something going on. I like to do a tree farm at the boss altar. It's not always convenient. Based on your seed, it might not be. You might have the island where you got a postage stamp for a boss altar. But ours is here, and it's fantastic. It's raised. Everything's downhill. Look at that. Where did I put my pine trees? And one of our Eikthyr altars is right here. Sometimes they're that close. There was all woods here. I cut all the trees down and, replanted. And some of these, I just planted these, I guess 3 business days before. Some of these are beech that were planted using the hoe, which I apparently have left. I mean the cultivator. And we have a mod for it, which I guess now is the time to introduce some of the mods we have. I need to go look at the mod list, so give me a sec. To get the names right. Oh, there it is. So on the Thunderstore, I like, for Valheim and a couple of other games, I like the manager called R2 Modman. And so it replaces how you search for the mods. You're not just roaming around on Thunderstore and then trying to download it yourself. You go here on R2 Modman. Once you have it set up, you need to install Bepinex to do any other mods. The dependency for all mods for Valheim is the Bepinex pack. And then you get that in, and then you can get in the R2 Modman mod. And then with that, log in to Thunderstore and search for this. So if I wanted to get Socialize, or let's say I wanted something with torches, we have one of these already in our list. I'm just saying, if I wanted to find new mods, that's one way you do it. So there's 5,000 mods. It's a little intense. So our torches mod is called Torches Eternal by Xenophel. So of course every mod list has to have Bepinet packs. Azu AutoStore. I'll demonstrate. I realize you can't see my mod list. I'm not showing that screen. I'm showing Valheim. So I realize that. I'm just Alright, so I usually will do this. I built this little frame here to keep the trees from falling on it. So we've got 3 in there. So Azumat's AutoStore. So you get close to the thing, maybe you're struggle walking with 3,000 or 2,000 wood, you pick them all up and you struggle your way up here. And in 10 seconds or less, it puts them all in a chest that already has something like that. So I built this. I can't repair it, that bench. I need to put a back wall, and I just haven't bothered, because my iron axe, I can't repair it, that bench anyway, so I'm just portaling to get that. So Plant easily. Let's see. Where's my list? And again, I realize you can't see it, but to pull things out of the boxes when you craft at the benches by Azimat, it's called Azu Crafty Boxes. So you go to your workbench and you don't have to have all of the stuff. You don't have to gather 6 of this and stack of that and 3 of those and, you know, all over your room. You go to the workbench, and if it's all within room of your workbench and your forge, it pulls it from the boxes for you. It'll let you know if you don't have enough. And again, so you go get more resin and you throw it down in the room, it goes in the box, and then you go to the bench and you can automatically pull it out to make whatever you need resin for. The gamma mod I mentioned earlier, it's called Valheim gamma mod. So in the dark, we can see because it's a video game and we are video streaming, video recordings. Need to be able to stream. So with this sort of argument, I sort of browbeat Rusty, I'm sorry, bud, into using the gamma mod, but you know, he agrees. Now we can see better because we're using gamma mod, but it's really bright on the sunlit days when we're looking towards the sun. Comfy auto repair. When you touch the workbench or the forge, you don't have to keep clicking the hammer. It automatically just going and touching the workbench, it repairs everything. So Target Portal by Smoothbrain is this, and this is genius. So I don't have to have a portal hub with, how many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 just on the view, 12, 15, 20, 30, 31, I think it's somewhere in the 20 to 30, maybe I overestimated. You know, I don't have a portal hub with 20 portals, and then out there is the companion, and I got to figure out which one's which. I go into this portal, which I've named Boss Altar, because it's at the Boss Altar stones, where you hang the boss on a hook. You can call it whatever you want, that's what I called it. And I look for mine, and I can automatically go to the smithy, because I've got a full load of wood. After I cut all my trees down, I'll have a full load of wood that'll go in the kiln. So I'll be here struggle walking, you know, and can hardly move. I'll make my way up here, and then Shift E, 25 wood goes in. How does that happen? And then over here, we've got some in here, so let's watch it happen. This is the, not the crafty boxes, but the easy auto store. Azu auto store. I gotta remember down to equip things so I don't break. And it probably happened while we weren't watching, but it should pull one of those into the box. Sometimes there's a slight delay getting it to work. Oh, there it went off over there. So one or two of those went in the box while we weren't looking. There it goes again. So the cool part is from upstairs in our fabulous forge, you go here and this automatically stuffs all the coal in there that you need from that box, the box we just put it in. Let's see, is there any ore? Shift E. There was one ore somewhere. No ore. We were up in the mountains getting silver 4 or 5 yesterday after Bowmess. We ground silver, and that's why I have a silver sword. And you know, my argument for that, I had arguments against it, but argument for it was when we're going to the swamp forever, you know, today, now, getting more iron, you need iron all the way to the end game. You need tons of iron. We're having deaths in the swamp to things that having a silver sword would be so much easier. So today, during that Drake raid, I had wraiths also appeared. Don't know how that happened. Let me put this away before I hurt somebody. And I put my bow away, which I was using on the drakes, and I just pulled out my silver sword and just hacked up the wraith. You know, that wouldn't have happened without a silver sword. You know, it would have been much more of a struggle where I'm hitting and kiting and it's zapping me. You know, would have happened more if without the silver sword. So that paid off already. But you know, we had 2 debates, and I changed sides on that debate from taking our time to let's get bowmass done sooner because we need iron for weeks. So there's our first day. I'm going to lower this. Next time we come back, you'll see I've lowered the front by 1 meter, like I mentioned, to match up with this back here. This end. So back here, I'm going to make the whole thing. I will do that off stream. I'll pull down my scaffolding. In fact, I'm going to leave it because there's decoration that I'm going to put up there, which would be easier if I was able to. No, you know what? It'd be easier actually if I build a new scaffolding out here. And the next thing to do, I want to put the particular end on the building that I mentioned that I haven't done this build. I'll do it next time. And start to place the walls inside. Obviously, there's an entire area here that's barren right now. Outside of my previous build end of the house, it's about here. You know, and I'll probably fix whatever that problem is up there. So I'll get all those things fixed off stream. Already this has been long and ASMR enough, and it's getting to be bad television weather, so so to speak. So we'll work on it off stream. Be ready for you guys to see that, and then the next stage. This is pretty much, most of this is going to be the size of the dojo. I don't know if it'll be here literally or here. How much would that be? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4 meters. This is 20 meters now. 18 inside. So 18, and if it's 4 and 4, that'd leave 10 meters for the barracks in the middle. If I do 5 and 5, that'll leave 8 meters for the barracks in the middle. I've got to decide. But the interesting thing I'm going to do, the wall, there'll be a door going between the partitions, but the wall, like here, is going to be a chest wall. So on the other side of the wall will be the other side of the chest. I'm just going to make stacks of chests up. I will, like we talked about when we had the scaffolding's on the other side up here. I'm going to leave that scaffolding in place. Okay. Some complications with our build. Let's go around this side. You know, this here, I'm going to leave that in place. That's going to be a shelf, obviously far above. How far is that? That's going to be 4 meters off the ground. I may move it down 1, but 3 meters or 4 above the floor. That right there is 5 meters up. That's a little high. But we're going to have the bed on the ground. I don't think initially I'm going to do so many chests on the ground through the whole area. In the ends, yes, I'm going to need lots of storage of food-related things in the kitchen. I'm going to need lots of storage in the armory. We'll call it the armory. I was going to say dojo, but, you know, where the people train and repair their stuff. So on one side I'll have the bench and the forge, and the other side I'll have a twig inside the building. Like probably over here in this corner will be a twig for training inside the building, so you're always resting. And in the far end will be the kitchen. Those are the builds for next time. And again, the wall, and I better get my dimensions straight first. I'm going to test it out with a row of chests across the floor, door in the middle, probably just wide open, you know, no nothing. Yeah, there'll be a door, like one gate. Anyway, the wall between the two end rooms are going to be chest walls. So all the storage will be the wall. Like imagine this, like if the door was here and this is the wall, there was no wood here wall. I'm going to do a wall of chests. And that's how I'm going to divide the room up. So anyway, again, bed, and then above the bed will be the man's ability to reach up. Let's say the bed's down there. It needs to be 1 more meter high, and the man can reach up, or Viking woman can reach up and grab his stuff, which is storage up above the beds. Is my current idea. We'll see. It's not quite wide enough. If we went a little wider, we could do the beds facing the wall, the headboard up against the wall instead of the side. But the historic building, if you look on Scotch's video, the historic building has the beds this way down the wall. It would need to be much wider to accommodate them being sideways. That would be a lot more men too, and this is supposed to be one Viking longship worth of people, men and women, of course. So anyway, there we are. Done for the day. I showed you all the things. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments, and come back with the name for two puppers. So what I'm planning to do now on Sunday, midday Sunday, early, like 12:30, maybe 1, I'm going to launch a Medieval Dynasty playlist of at least 3 videos that I've done. I've got 8 videos shot and edited now, and it's a roleplay story on top of the story of Medieval Dynasty. I've got a whole roleplay character story, and I'm going to release at least the first 3 videos on Sunday, probably 1 o'clock. And then after they've played through, I'm planning for 3 o'clock. I'm going to watch them myself. If you want to come into my Discord, the links are in my profile. If you want to come into my Discord and talk while we watch the premiere of that series. And then at 3, roughly, I plan to come back here and do the next video of this build for the Trellborg Barracks. Trellborg Barracks. So if you want to see me earlier, I'm targeting 1 o'clock on Sunday for the Medieval Dynasty playlist. And then live Valheim part 3 of this build series, Trellborg Barracks on Sunday. And I think Rusty will be on. He may stream Sunday or not. He usually doesn't stream on Sundays, and so I'm feeling like I'm not stepping on his toes is why I'm doing on days he's not streaming Valheim. Because we're all here doing things together, and it's really awkward to have somebody talking who's not in the group chat with the rest of us trying to go. You know, it's kind of hard. I can't do a build video while we're going on a voyage to fight motor or something, you know, up a mountain. So, you know, this is why I'm doing it all this way. So that's my thing. Going to see what I'm talking about. I'm going to put it up in previews. That's my goal for the rest of the day, is to make the previews for Sunday. You'll probably see it tomorrow. That I'm going to premiere the first of those videos, and the others 2 I'll drop right after the first one. So you can see the whole trio, start of a whole new thing. Yes, I can sleep now. So, for more of this, I'll see you Sunday. For more of something else, I'll see you earlier Sunday. And give me a like and whatnot. If you're following, if you're a new follower, I see 10 people watching right now. No idea if any of you are already my people. Five Fingers and Seth commented, and the Grey Warrior is obviously me to the video. And the rest of you, if you are new followers, I don't see any names yet. You need to respond to this chat real quick, live chat, or you're welcome to be a private follower if you like to. And thank you very much for being here. And this is a lot of fun. Thank you all very much. Skull.